Here's how sexual harassment settlements really work. When the New York Times published its explosive report on Harvey Weinstein earlier this month, the newspaper bluntly titled it, "Harvey Weinstein Paid Off Sexual Harassment Accusers for Decades." It was a powerful choice of words, and one that explained in an instant why Weinstein's mistreatment of women had been a long-time open secret in Hollywood. Despite multiple women's allegations over the course of almost 30 years, the wealthy and once powerful Weinstein had, until now, been able to buy their silence with out-of-court legal settlement money. Weinstein has reportedly reached at least 8 settlements with accusers. The Times also revealed last week that Bill O'Reilly paid a $32 million settlement to Fox News legal analyst Liz Will, who had accusing him of repeated sexual harassment, including a non-consensual sexual relationship and emailing her porn, just before Fox News renewed O'Reilly's contract this past January. It was the 6th, and largest, known settlement O'Reilly had reached with a female colleague who claimed that he sexually harassed her, according to the Times. The Weinstein and O'Reilly scandals have sparked a national conversation on out-of-court legal settlements, particularly in sexual harassment cases. These settlements almost always come with confidentiality agreements to keep accusers quiet, as well as the non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, many employees are asked to sign when they're first hired, promising they won't spill internal secrets or say anything negative about the company to outsiders or the media. While NDAs don't actually prevent employees from reporting offenses that are against the law, like rape or sexual harassment, that's not always clear from the language in employees' contracts, and New York, New Jersey and California are considering laws to limit the power of both NDAs and confidentiality clauses on the grounds they silence victims. Below, employment attorneys and legal experts, including civil rights lawyer Gloria Allred, who has handled legal settlements for thousands of women victims, answer all your questions about the complicated process of settling out of court. Sexual harassment isn't a criminal offense unless it involves a crime like rape or assault, in which case, it can be reported to police, but it is against the law as a violation of the Civil Rights Act, the federal law that says you can't discriminate against someone based on their sex. People who are being sexually harassed can report the behavior internally at their companies and hope the harasser is reprimanded or fired. And if a lawyer determines they have a strong legal case, they can also file a civil lawsuit against their employer and seek monetary damages in court. By legal standards, the harassment has to be severe, like a predator groping someone or exposing themselves, or pervasive, repeated sexual comments over a period of time, to pursue in court. If you want to sue, contact a lawyer or your state's branch of the EOC for help. It's generally too complicated a process to handle on your own. Whether an accuser makes an internal report or sues, or both, the accused and the victim may agree to an out-of-court settlement rather than going to trial. But even after some cases begin court proceedings, the parties still might reach a settlement, which would end a trial. A settlement can happen from the moment you make a complaint, up until even after the trial or on appeal, says Minna Kotkin, director of the Brooklyn Law School's Employment Law Clinic. For example, after a victim wins a key hearing, an employer might realize, okay, we're getting scared now. Here's a better settlement offer, says Philadelphia employment attorney Greg F. Employers settle because they want to minimize bad publicity for the company and/or damage to its brand, but according to Allred, both sides may want to avoid a long, expensive legal battle and the negative attention of a trial. For these reasons, lawyers say the overwhelming majority of all civil lawsuits settle out of court. Many victims in particular prefer not to go to trial because it's an emotional, risky process. They're concerned about their privacy, about victim blaming and shaming, having to answer questions like, "Why didn't you say something? Did this really happen?" Allred says. In sexual harassment cases, an accuser's sexual history can be dredged up and used against her. For victims, settlements also guarantee they'll receive a payout, while civil lawsuits are risky because there's no guarantee a jury will rule in your favor. If you go to trial, you're basically putting your faith in the hands of the next 8 people in line at the grocery store, says Zeph. I've never seen a case yet that I would win 100% of the time. People who have lost or left their job over the harassment